4 of the American League Championship Series 1973. Oakland leads the series 2-1, looking to wrap it up here at home. Awesome pitching matchup. Vida Blue against Jim Palmer. So we're looking for a pitcher's duel. At least that's what the thought is, but you never know how the dice are going to cooperate. Anything is liable to happen. When you got dice involved, it's open-ended and you never know. All right. So as I said, Vida Blue on the mound for the Oakland A's. 20-9 with a 3.28 ERA. Jim Palmer, 22-9 with a 2.40 ERA. So, like I said, at least on paper, and games are never played on paper, but on paper it looks like a good pitching matchup. So let me get where I need to be. First things first, I think I got a little smudge on my thing there. Let's see. Let's see if everything will fit. Hello, Mr. Robert. I was at a football game last night, so I missed your selection show. I'll have to go back and watch that and then do my voting. But I did not catch it live because I was away. But I did see you posted it, so I will make sure to check that out and make sure I vote. Just like in the upcoming presidential election, it's always important to vote. Make your voice heard. That's the democratic process. So let's see here. I'm going to make sure at the bottom of the score sheet shows up. It looks like it does now. Okay, good. Hello, Kenyon. How are you doing? I'm going to give you a spoiler, Robert, but I got a funny feeling that Brian B. is going to vote for a certain Cincinnati Reds season within those choices. I just got a funny feeling about that. And, of course, if that season wins, he will constantly be talking about how rigged it is. So that's just the way that's going to work, I think. All right, so Game 4. Orioles in a must-win situation. The A's have a slight change in their lineup. First couple games, they've been using Mangual in center. The previous game with the lefty on the mound, they had Canigliaro in center. Now with the righty on the mound, Vic Davalillo is going to play center field. Hello, Gerald. How you doing? Projects are doing good. This one's wrapping up. And actually what I've decided to do on the 1987 one is I'm going to set that to the side because I really want to finish this and then have nothing but the 87 left. And that way I think I can get rolling more once I just have one project in my hands. Right now I'm trying to juggle a couple things. So the next series of videos are all going to be 1973 until I get this thing finished. Then I'll go back to 1987. I think that's the better plan instead of trying to flip-flop it and whatnot. So I think once I get through the 73 and that's off my plate, I can focus on 87 and start knocking maybe a couple games a week out on that. All right, so at least that's the hope. Now, life comes up and whatnot, but that's the hope. All right. Vida Blue taking those warm-up tosses. And he'll be facing Merv Retmund, the right fielder. Of course, Earl Weaver has all the right-handers in the lineup, and everybody on the bench is left-handed. So he's playing the percentages right there. All right, Game 4 underway. Vida Blue. We get a 1-6 for Retmund, and that's a 1-10 home run. That's a 19. It will be a double instead. So leadoff double for Merv Retmund. How about that? A leadoff double for Merv Retmund. Look at it again, 1-7 against the lefty. 8-20. I'm sorry, did I get that wrong? It should be a single, not a double. I read 1-6. A good thing I did look at it again. It's actually going to be a single, not a double. I read 1-6 by mistake. It's actually 1-7. So 1-7 is a double, 19 is a single. So that's only a single, not a double. So I got to be careful where I'm reading here. So it's a leadoff single for Retmund. The pitcher-catcher interface for Oakland is a -1, as Blue is a +2, but Fossey's a -3. So if Retmund can obtain the lead, it would be he'd have a 1-16 chance. So that's a good chance, but he's got to get a 7 to get the lead. It's the only way he gets the lead is a 7. It's the only way to happen. And he can't do it. That's a 1, so it's a chance that he can get picked off. When you roll a 1 to get the lead, it's a chance you can get picked off. His safe range is his secondary range was 1-11. So 1-11, he gets back safe. 12 or higher, he gets picked off. And he is picked off. So he got too far off the bag, and Vida Blue picks him off. How about that? Retmund. Earl Weaver's not going to like that. So here's Bobby Grich. to 4-7 against a right-hander. That's a walk. So now how big was that pickoff? Gritch is at first. Boy, he just got picked off, so I think they're going to stick with, they're going to leave him there. They'll hold him, but he's not going to try anything. Not after he got picked off. So that's a 1. Chance for a wild pitch for Vita Blue. 1-13 is a wild pitch. And it is, so it's a wild pitch. The D20 has come up a number 1 2 times in a row. 1 for a pickoff and 1 for a wild pitch. So Blair will be held at second base as he is in scoring position. I'm sorry, Gritch will be held. And here's Paul Blair. At least I think he will. Yeah, Gritch runs at a 15, so they will hold him on. Blue 5-7, and that's a strikeout, a big one too, of Paul Blair. That's out number 2. And that will send us to Tommy Davis, the designated hitter. Again, Gritch is being held at second. That is a 6-4, and it's a ground ball shortstop X. That's Campaneris. He's a 2E26. 2E26. 2-11 should be no problem whatsoever. A 2-11 is a G1, so that's an easy play. Now the error chance, he's an E26. He's got to avoid 12, 17, and 18. And that is a 14, so he is able to avoid it and throw to first to make the play. And the Orioles come away empty-handed. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 left. We go to the bottom of the first. Orioles nothing, and the A's coming to bat. Hello, Robert. How you doing? Robert, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but 58 has no chance in hell. I'm just going to tell it to you point blank. I think it's a done deal already. I think 1990 sweeps it without too much trouble. I don't think the only one that might come close is 83 because people like Tom Seaver's last year, but I don't think 2011 or 1958 are going to get much votes at all. I think it's going to be a 1990 is going to get about 90% of the vote. Just my opinion. I could be wrong, but just my opinion. It's not rigged. It's just that people like the 1990 season. What can you say? It's just the way it is. All right, here's Palmer against Campaneris. 5-7, and that is a strikeout. And I know Robert probably doesn't like me saying that, Robert RJL doesn't like me saying that because it takes away some of the drama of the voting, but I just think the the dice do factor into it, but trust me, 1990 is going to have the most dice in the game, so the odds are stacked to 1990 because they're going to get the most dice. I forgot he does it a different way now, and if 1990 doesn't win on that roll like that, then Brian B is going to really be talking about being rigged. All right, here's Rudy, 5-11. That's a fly ball right field X. Retman's a 2E8. 2 and an E8, 2 and a 9 should be okay. 2 and a 9 is a F2. And then E8, he has to avoid 3, 6, and then 15 through 18. That's a 5. It's a rare play on an F2. So look at the chart for an F2 rare play. F2 rare play. The outfielder catches the ball for an out. If there's a runner on third base, he tags up and scores a run. The play is appealed by the defense and the umpire. Well, there's nobody on third base. You don't have to worry about it. Just a catch for Retman. And that's out number 2. So it ended up 2011 is winning. That won't last long. That won't last long. All right, here's Bando. 5-6 for Palmer. That's a 1-6 triple. How about that? Sal Bando with a 5 there. He will get a 2-out triple. How many triples does Sal Bando have? Well, he had 3 in the regular season, so not totally out of the realm. He does get a triple, and he does have triples on his card, so it's not like it's totally unbelievable that he would get a triple. It's a 2-out triple, and here comes Hot Dog Jackson. Hot Dog Jackson. Every vote counts, so make your vote heard. And like you said, even if your season you want comes in last place, they still have dice in the game that could turn it in their favor with some good rolls. All right, here's Reggie. 6-7 against the lefty. It's a ground ball second base X. That's Bobby Gritch. He's a 2E5. 2 and a 9. He'll make that play. E5, he's got to avoid And the 2-9 is actually a G2, but not that it matters. And he's an E5, so he's got to avoid 16 and 18. That's the only two numbers that'll hurt him. And that is a 13, so he will make the play just fine. And Oakland strands Bando at third base. No runs, a hit, no errors, and one left. At the end of one, we got no score from Oakland. The 67 season is wonderful. I would like to do someday maybe do a full replay and strat with it, but I just wanted to do the American League, pennant race thing with Inside Pitch. And the main reason I did with Inside Pitch because they have all the cards, and I didn't feel like printing out the computer cards. So, 58's a wonderful season. I mean, Braves were still in Milwaukee, and they played the Yankees in a rematch of the World Series, and you still had Hall of Famers like Willie Mays and Hank Aaron, all those guys in their prime. So, hello, Ben. I'm still drinking on my last cup of coffee, trying to enjoy that. A little cool this morning. I went to the football game last night. I got a little cold. It was in the 40s, and I didn't dress warmly enough, and kind of paid for it a little bit. I got a little cold at the end, and I'm sure I haven't been outside this morning, but I'm sure it's going to get to around 70 today. But right now, and maybe by now it's warmed up. But I know this morning it was pretty cold. All right. Oh, Gene Tennis is not going to bat against Vida Blue. This is Earl Williams. What am I doing? Earl Williams, the catcher. I'm sorry, first baseman is going to play. Vida Blue, 3-3 against the lefty, and that's a foul out to Ray Fosse for one away. Don Baylor, the left fielder, is up. 4-11 against the right-hander is a ballpark single, but it's only a 1 in Oakland. That's a 4, so it will be a line out to short. Not going to get many ballpark advantages here in Oakland. It's going to favor the pitching. All right, here's Brooks Robinson. That's a 5-11 against the right-hander. That's a ballpark blast. Brooks Robinson, though, has weak power against lefties. That's a 10. The ballpark blast is only a 9, though, so it's going to be a fly to left. And that's going to end the inning. 3 up and 3 down go the O's. And, of course, being here in Virginia, the big talk is the resignation of college basketball coach Tony Bennett. I guess getting done in by NIL and everything else. He got tired of the racket and decided to get out, which I don't blame him. All right, there does need to be some adjustments made to transfer portal rules and so forth. No way a guy should be able to play for 4 different teams in 4 different years. That's just ridiculous. All right, here's Gene Tennis. God, that was a sidebar. All right, 6-4 for Palmer. Ground ball, shortstop X. That is Belanger. He's a 1E26. With nobody on base, you don't need to roll the 20 because you know he's going to get to it. E26, he's got to avoid 12, 17, and 18. And that's a 12, so it will be an error right there. E26 at shortstop. The 12 is right here in the E1, and that, in fact, is a 12. So Belanger, the normally short-handed Belanger, boots it. A leadoff error. Hello, Doug. How you doing? A leadoff error. Gene Tennis will not be held on. And here's Vic Davalillo, his first start of the playoffs. Davalillo against Palmer. 1-4, and that's a ground ball second base B, so it's a fielder's choice, 4-6. And Davalillo is a new runner. He's not going anywhere either, not going to be held. And here's the designated hitter, Darren Johnson. 1, so it's a chance of a wild pitch. 1-5 for Palmer, and he throws one to the backstop. But Echeverrin blocks it, so we keep going. 6-11, that's a ground ball shortstop A. It's a 6-4-3, pitcher's best friend. And that will take care of business. Here in the bottom of the second, no runs, no hits, 1 error, but with the double play, nobody left. At the end of 2, no score, and that's not a shock with this pitching matchup. All right, top of the third we go. Vida Blue will be facing the bottom of the order. Echeverrin, Belanger, and then the top of the order, Retman. That's a 3-6 for Echeverrin. That's a 1-3 home run, but that's an 18, so it will be a leadoff double for Andy Echeverrin. He comes through with a double. He will not be held, obviously. He's a slow runner. And here is Mark Belanger. That's a 4-7, and that is a walk. So runners at first and second, nobody out. And Vida Blue in a little bit of trouble. Here's Belanger. He's a B bunter, but he's also a good hitter. So Earl Weaver, not one to bunt very much. So I think he would be looking for a bigger game. Hey, Mike, the numbers to the left are their speed ratings. Brian, I don't think that will happen, but we shall see. The way these starting pitchers are going, they might pitch complete games or close to it. All right, 3-9 for Retman is a ground ball second base C, so the runners are going to advance. It acted like a bunt. And now the infield's going to come in, as they know runs are at a premium. With one out and runners at second and third, the infield is in. And Bobby Grich at the plate. Trying to choke this run off. 2-11, and that's a fly ball left field B ? Possible sacrifice fly. The only problem is the lead runner, Echeverrien's only a 10 with his run rating. So if you're not familiar with the B ? I'll show it to you in the rule book, just so you can get a feel for what's going on here with the B ? Oh, let me go to the right page. That was just the B. Where's the B ? Next page. Where did it go? Where did it go? Oh, here we go. All right, so to attempt to score, you add the base running rating +2 and the outfielder's arm. So Echeverrien, his run rating is a 10. You add 2 to it, makes it a 12. The hit went to left field, so the left fielder arm is Rudy. He's a 0. So it's a 1 to 12 to score him, which is a 60% chance. So to me, you got to send him because Blair does not have a 60% chance of getting a base hit. So I'm going to send him 1 to 12. So 1 to 12, it's a sacrifice fly. It is. Sacrifice fly for Bobby Grich. Echeverrien hustles and makes it before Rudy can get the throw in there. And it's a 1-0 ball game, Orioles, on the sac fly by Bobby Grich. Leaves Belanger at second with 2 down. And Belanger will be held. He runs at a 16, so they got to hold him on. Blue 5-10 to Blair is a fly to center, and that's going to end the inning. But the Orioles strike first. A double, a walk, and a sacrifice fly after a ground out. And it's a run on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left. We go to the bottom of the third. It is now 1-0 Orioles. And they've given that lead to Jim Palmer. Game 4 of the National League Series will be tomorrow. Don't know if it's going to be live tomorrow night or if it's going to be recorded. I haven't decided that yet. I'm leaning towards recording it tonight and posting it tomorrow, but we'll see how the schedule goes. All right, here is Ray Fosse. 3-6 for Fosse. That's a solid single. So the A's starting off with a single. And Dick Green, as an A bunter, is definitely in there to bunt. Corners are in, expecting it, so it becomes a B bunter. So Palmer will check for a wild pitch or a balk first. Nothing happening there. So now the bunt. The bunt's going to go to the pitcher, Palmer. Now, he's a B bunter, so pretty much has to avoid anything double digits. He needs single digits. And he gets a single digit with a 5, and a B and a 5 is a good sacrifice. So sacrifice hit goes 1 to 4. Fosse takes second. He's in scoring position with 1 out. It's a productive out for Dick Green. And that will bring up Bert Campaneris, who struck out his first chance. Fosse not being held at second. It's a 3-9, and that's a single to left field, but with Fosse not running well, I think they're going to hold him up. Left fielder arm. Baylor, though, it's a +2. So 11 not being held makes him a 12, +2 is a 14. You could send him on a 1 to 14, but then again, you got runners on the corners with only 1 out. Kind of like that scenario a little bit better, so we're going to hold him there. And now, Campaneris might be trying to get the lead here. Oops. Let's try for the lead. 3 through 6 to get the lead. He gets the lead, so he's going to go. 18 is his number. -1 for the pitcher-catcher hold interface makes it a 17. Being held makes him a 15. 1 to 15, Campanera steals it. And he does. So Campanera steals it. And now the go-ahead run is in scoring position with only 1 out. And that's going to force the Orioles to bring their infield in as well for Joe Rudy. Tutti Frutti, oh Rudy. Palmer needs a strikeout. 4-7. He won't get it. He actually gets a walk, and that's going to load the bases for Sal Bando, who just tripled his first time up. So now the infield is back for the double play with the force at any base. Infield is back for the double play to turn 2, or at least to try to turn 2. 3-4, and that's a look at that. Sal Bando just hits a grand salami. 3-4 against a right-handed pitcher for Sal Bando is a straight-up home run. There is no number needed for a D20 roll. That's a straight-up solid home run, or as Jeffrey Guterman, our friend Jeffrey Guterman likes to say, clean as a baby's ass. It's a grand salami for Sal Bando. He has tripled and homered in his first 2 at-bats. I've never had a cycle before, but he's certainly off to a good start. And they just put 4 runs on the board against Jim Palmer and make it a 4-1 ball game as the A's trying to wrap up this series and Sal Bando trying to be the hero. Certainly off to a great start. It's 4-1. Palmer, a little chagrin, kind of shook up about that. Here's Reggie. But whoops, the sewer dice on that one. But he's your ace. You got to stick with him. 6-2, and that's a triangle there. So split it down. 1 to 11 is a single. That is an 11. So it's a base hit for Reggie. Would have been a single in advance as well, but super advance, you had to earn a little bit more. So Reggie's on, and he's looking to run. They're trying to shake up the Orioles as best they can. 4 through 6 gets him the lead. He does not get the lead. It's a 3, so he does not get the lead. And here's Gene Tennis. 6-10 for Tennis is a ground ball third base X. This could be a double play because Robinson's a 1. So let's see if he can get the G1 result. He does. 15's a G1, so as long as there's no error, it's a double play. He's an E16, so he's got to avoid 3, 4, 7, 14, 16, and 18. That is a 13. That's going to be good to go. There is no 13. It'll be a 5-4-3 around the horn double play to end the inning. But damage done on the grand slam by Sal Bando. And the A's take a 4-1 lead. 4 runs on 4 hits, no errors, and with the double play, nobody left. So at the end of 3 is 4-1 A's. And Vida Blue now coming out there with confidence. Earl Weaver has a rested bullpen, but Jim Palmer's your ace, so I don't know. Something got out of focus here. So Jim Palmer's your ace, so I don't think you necessarily wean away from him right away. So here's Tommy Davis. That's a 3-11 against the lefty. It's a ballpark single, but unfortunately it's only a 1. So it will be a line out to short. 1 away. Now, I don't know if this is going to happen or not. It's in the planning stages, but for those of you who know Utah Mike Sports Time Machine, he had reached out to me about doing a video to discuss all things Strat-O-Matic, and I told him I'd be more than happy to do so. So he's planning that, I think, somehow or another, but it might come up in the future. We shall see. I enjoy talking Strat or talking the hobby with anybody, so it doesn't matter to me if it's Strat or inside pitch or whatever. 4-8 against the right-hander is another walk. So Earl Williams will draw the walk. He will not be held. And here's Don Baylor. Blue to Baylor, 3-5, and that is against the left-hander. That's a ground ball second base C. The runner will advance to second base. Gets into scoring position with 2 outs. Williams, though, not held. He doesn't run well. And it's up to Brooks Robinson in a clutch situation. Brooks Robinson. 4-9, and that's going to be a 1-5 single, but that's an 18, so he lines it to Dick Green at second, and the inning is over. No runs, no hits, no errors, and a man left. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It's still 4-1 A's. And Jim Palmer will try to come back out and regroup after getting Stunned by the grand slam from Sal Bando. So here's Vic Davalillo. 2-2 for Davalillo. That's a clutch single, but there's nobody on base. It's a straight out single for Vic Davalillo. He, of course, will not be held. And here's Darren Johnson, designated hitter. Palmer, 6-5. That's a ground ball shortstop X. That is Belanger, so it's possible double play. He's a 1. That's a 9. That will be a G1, so it would be a double play as long as there's no error. He's already made one error in the game, though. He's got to avoid 12, 17, and 18. And 11, he just barely does, but it will be a 6-4-3 double play. Second double play turned by the Orioles. And that makes 2 outs with the bases clear. And that'll bring up Ray Fosse. 5-4. That's a ballpark single again. It's only a 1, so that's not going to happen. That's a fly to left to end the inning. No runs, a hit, no errors, and nobody left on the double play. At the end of 4, it's 4-1 Oakland, as the A's look to finish this off and await the winner of the Giants and the Pirates. Game 4 of that series will be tomorrow. And it's going to be a rematch of Game 1. Ron Bryant, the left-hander for the Giants, against Nelson Briles for the Pirates. Here's Andy Etchebarren. He doubled and scored the only run of the game. (1-9) for Etchebarren. He's going to ground it to short. Campaneris is right there, 1 away. Here is Belanger. 1-11 again, and that's a pop out to short. Campaneris again will haul it in, 2 down. And we're back to the top of the order in Merv Retman. He's 1 for 3. He also got picked off. 5-5. He's going to strike out this time. It's going to end the inning. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Vida Blue. We go to the bottom of the 5th, still 4-1. And all Palmer can do is try to tread water and hope his offense can do something. Here's Dick Green, number 9 hitter. He had a sacrifice bunt his first time up, so this is his first actual at-bat. 3-9, and he's going to double. How about that? Dick Green has a solid column 3, and he found a double. Now the Oriole bullpen is loosening. They do have left-hander Grant Jackson warming in the bullpen. I know he's like their closer, but you got to bring in the best you got when you're down. So Campaneris is your batter. 1 for 2 with a stolen base and a run scored. 2-5, and that is a strikeout. A big one, too, by Jim Palmer. 1 away for Joe Rudy. With Bando hanging on deck, and you'd be tempted to walk him if first base is open, but that would certainly take away the chance of getting a cycle if I did it. So Palmer, 4-8, and that is a fly ball. I'm sorry, 4-8 is a walk. So they can't walk in now because runners are at first and second. That takes that scenario out of the equation. Now here comes Sal Bando. He has tripled and homered. Palmer, runners at first and second and 1 out. That's a 2, possible balk or pass ball. Palmer has no balk written. It's not going to be a balk because Palmer didn't have any balks. Hello, Midlife. How are you doing? Yeah, don't do many rare live ones. Usually just on Saturday. All right, so Palmer to Bando. He's already tripled and homered. He's got 2 guys on and 1 out. 6-7, and that's a ground ball second base X. That is Grich. Nobody's being held on base, so he keeps his full 2E5. This could be another double play. 2-12. 2-12 is a G1, so it's a possible double play. E5, he's got to avoid 16 and 18. And he does with a 15. Boy, just snuck it by him. So yet another double play. Third one turned by the Orioles in this game. And 3rd consecutive innings. Actually, 4th. They turned a double play in the 2nd, double play in the 3rd, double play in the 4th, and now double play in the 5th. How do you like that? 4 double plays in consecutive innings by the Orioles to get him out of a jam. So Palmer not on his game, but getting some great help from his defense. All right, so Vida Blue will come out to start the 6th. His fatigue inning is the 7th, so he's still definitely good to go. But those double plays are keeping the Orioles in the game. Otherwise, it would be a blowout. 6-8, and that's going to be a 1 double, but that's an 8, so it's a fly to center. Grich is retired for Paul Blair. And the Orioles are running out of outs very quickly. 3-6 against the lefty. He's going to strike out. Another strikeout for Vida Blue. And that will send up the designated hitter, Tommy Davis. 3-8, left-handed. It's a fly to center, and that's going to end the inning. So nothing doing there. 3 up and 3 down. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Still 4-1. Palmer still hanging in there. 4 double play. I don't know if I ever had 4 double plays in the game. Particularly, I know I haven't had them in 4 straight innings. That's definitely weird. All right, here's Hot Dog Jackson. 1-9, and he's going to strike out. 1 away for Gene Tennis. 1-4, and that's a ballpark single. But again, it's only a 1. That's a 5. He's going to pop it up to short. 2 down for Vic Davalillo. 3-4, and that's a ground ball to Grich at second. 1-2-3 inning for Palmer. So he's hanging in there. He made that 1 mistake pitch, and so far it's cost him, and the Orioles have not been able to help him out with some offense. Top of the 7th. This is the fatigue inning for Vida Blue. So they will be keeping an eye on him just in case. 1-3, and that's going to be a ground ball to first with a possible injury. So it's a ground out, and now we're going to check Williams for injury. 1-4, I believe, is what he needs to stay in the game. But I will confirm that that's the case. Look at our injury chart. Yep, he needs a 1-4 to stay in the game. He does not. So Earl Williams has to come out, and Boog Powell will come in to play first base in his stead. So Boog Powell will be on. Earl Williams is out of there. So Powell will now take over the rest of the game. And Powell is a 5 E19 as a fielder, and he runs at a 9. So Boog Powell will now be in the game. Earl Williams unable to continue. So Don Baylor is your batter with 1 out, and the base is clear. We get a 6-7. That's a ground ball second base X. That's Dick Green. He's a 2E11. 2E11 for Dick Green. 2 and a 13. He'll get to it. E11. He's got to avoid 15, 17, and 18, which he does quite nicely, and that's 2 away. And up to Brooks Robinson. Orioles are down to their final 7 outs. That's a 3-4 for Robinson. It's a ballpark single check again, but again, as a 1 is what you need, and I got a 4, so it's a 3 up and 3 down, so they're down to their final 6 outs. We're at the 7th inning stretch here in Oakland with the A's leading it 4-1, and Vida Blue still going strong. Well, Brian B., these are as-played lineups, so I had to go, I followed the as-played lineups. So Boog Powell did bench against the lefty. He was battling some wrist injury problems in the series, which is another reason why it was benched. But particularly against a left-hander, they benched him. So it wasn't my doing. I'm following the as-played. Now, on the Pirate Giant one, that's free-for-all. I pick whatever lineup I feel best. But this one was as-played. Now, interestingly enough, Johnson is 0 for 2, hitting the 2 double plays. At least he can't do that now because nobody's on base. 1-7, and he will get a 1-2 single, but that's a 5, so he grounds it to Grich at second base, 1 away for Ray Fosse. So no chance of a cycle now for Bando because he missed that chance in that double play at bat. He'll only get 1 more at bat, barring extra innings, so you won't get that chance. 1-6 is a strikeout, so I'll still go without a cycle. It'll happen one of these days. Here's Dick Green. 3-5 for Green, and that is a 3-5 is a straight out single for Dick Green. He's 2 for 2 with a sacrifice bunt, so he's really done well in the 9 spot. He won't be held, obviously. Palmer facing Campaneris. He's 1 for 3. 2 strikeouts. 1-5. He's going to ground it to short for a fielder's choice to end the inning. So no runs, a hit, no errors, and a man left. We go to the 8th inning. It's still 4-1. That 4-1 score from the third has held up all the way. Vida Blue again out. Has nothing against this point of weakness. He's got full endurance. But you know, Raleigh Fingers is lingering in the background just in case. Etchebarren is 1 for 2 with a double. That's a 4-7 against a right-hander is another walk. So Vida Blue has had control problems. That is walk number 4 for Vida Blue. And here's Mark Belanger. He's 0 for 2. They could pinch hit for him. He's only a .226 hitter. And I think you almost have to at this point. You have to go for some offense. So they're going to bring in Al Bumry to pinch it. All they have is lefties on the bench. So I know it's lefty against lefty, but there's no option here. So Al Bumry, a pinch hitter, he hit .337 on the season. So Al Bumry will pinch hit for Belanger. And then Frank Baker, their only backup shortstop, will come in the game to play shortstop. So Baker's a 4.29. Frank Baker, and I will admit I don't know anything about Frank Baker. I put Banker in here. That's how much I don't know about him. 12. So there's Frank Baker's card. He had 190 with 63 at bats. He did play second, short, and first and third, all the infield positions. But at short, he's a 4.29. But he will be in there for defense after Bumry pinch hits. Hello, GGG. Good to see you. So Bumry in the pinch hitting role, looking for some offensive, fireworks. See what they can do against the lefty Vida Blue. That's a 210, and is a ballpark single again, but it's a 1 there, so that's going to be a line out to second base. 1 away, so Bumry fails in the pitch. And here's Merv Retman, top of the order. Merv Retman. 6-11, and that's a fly ball right field X. That's Reggie Jackson. He's a 2E11. 2E11. 2-19, he'll get to that. E11, he's got to avoid. And that's going to be F3, so nobody can advance. So an E11, and he has to avoid 3, 4, 13, 15, 16, and 18. That's a 9. That's good enough all day long. So Retman is retired, out number 2. And that will send up Bobby Grich. Grich against Vida Blue. That's a 3-2 against the lefty, and that's a ground ball to short. It's going to end the inning. Fielder's choice. Inning's over. Orioles down to their final 3 outs of the American League Championship Series. And they're going to probably have to do it against Raleigh Fingers because that might be all for Vida Blue. Dick Williams may go ahead and just turn this over to Dick Williams and be done with it. And let's see what about Palmer. Does he continue? This is his point of weakness inning right here. Inning number 8. He's going to be facing Rudy, Bando, and Jackson. So Grant Jackson is loosening the bullpen. They might have him face Reggie Jackson when that time comes. We shall see. All right, here's Rudy. 6-7. That is a ground ball second base X. That's Grich. He's a 2E5. 2-9. He'll get to it. E5. He's got to avoid. As an E5, he needs to avoid 16 and 18, which he does. So it's a nice play for Bobby Grich. 1 away. And here's Sal Bando, tripled and homered. 3-5, and he's going to chance for another homer again. 1-6 is a home run, but that's a 14, gives him a double. So he's got everything for the cycle except the single. He's got the easiest one he did not get. He's got the double, triple, and a homer, but no single. Had he singled here, he would have had the cycle, but that's just the way it goes. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. And now with Reggie Jackson coming up, that's going to be it for Palmer. Earl Weaver is making that long stroll to the from the dugout to the mound. And Grant Jackson, the lefty, is coming on for the Orioles. And Grant Jackson is 8-0 with a 1.91 ERA and 9 saves. So Grant Jackson is on to see what he can do. Palmer is going to go 7 1/3 innings. And let's figure out his totals here. Well, we know about the 4 runs. Hits 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 hits for Palmer in 7 1/3. He's going to walk Rudy twice. And I believe that's the only walks he has, or 2 for Rudy. So it's 2 walks. 2 walks and strikeouts. 1, 2 for Campaneris, 3 there, 4 there. So it looks like 4 strikeouts, if I'm reading that correctly. So final line, well, not final because the runner Bando is his responsibility, but right now 7 1/3, 9 hits, 4 runs, all earned, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, and now Grant Jackson trying to keep it a 4-1 game. Facing Reggie Jackson. First base is open. First base is open. Reggie. It's Jackson against Jackson. 1-4 is ground ball second base C. That'll get the runner to third. But now there are 2 outs for Gene Tennis. Gene Tennis. That's a 6-6 against a right-hander. That's a ground ball to third. That's going to end the inning. So no runs a hit, no errors, and a man left. And we can close the book on Palmer. So we go to the 9th. Last chance for the Orioles. It's a 4-1 game. And coming up for the Orioles is Blair, Davis, and Powell. Those are the scheduled hitters. And coming out for the A's to try to wrap things up is none other than Mr. Mustache himself, Raleigh Fingers. So Raleigh Fingers is in, 7-8, 1.93 ERA, and 22 saves. And we'll get the numbers on Vita Blue. He went 8 innings, giving up just the 1 run. 1, 2, just 2 hits. Is that what I got him for? 2 hits? Retman single and an Etchebarren double, and that's been it. Just 2 hits. 2 hits and a run. He did walk 4. And he struck out 1, 2, 3. Struck out just 3. And now Raleigh Fingers is on to face Blair Davis. We could get a pinch hitter for one of these guys. Well, Davis hits 306, so you're not going to pinch hit for him. I don't see any pinch hitting anywhere in this one, actually, unless they get way down the order. I don't see any pinch hitting coming on at all. All right, so here we go. Bottom of the 9th. Now, do the A's want to make any defensive changes? That's the one thing I need to look at real quick. Our defensive changes. Center field is a weak spot defensively for them. So let's see if they got a better center fielder than Vic Davalillo, because he's a 4 in center field. Actually, all their center fielders are 4, so it really doesn't do them any good. They're all 4s. So much for the defensive switch, because they're all 4s. So it's not going to do them any good. Not at all. All right, so last chance for the Orioles as Raleigh Fingers now has come on to pitch for the A's to try to save this game. It's a 4-1 ball game. Last chance for the Orioles. It's Paul Blair. 2-7 for Blair, and all these hits in column 2, and he found a pop out to short. And there's 1 away. The A's now 2 outs away from getting the victory and winning the American League pennant. Players are on the top step of the dugout. Fans are ready to jump on the field and everything else. Here's Tommy Davis. You wonder if they might pinch hit, though, with a lefty, because let's see if they got on the bench that's a good hitter from the left side. If they have anybody that's a good hitter from the left side. Crowley's 206. Coggins is 319. But you like to hit him for, he's going to stay in there. He's going to be ready to hit for Brooks Robinson if it gets to that. So they got to get there first. That's the problem. Fingers 6'9". That's a ground ball to shortstop X. That is Campaneris. He's a 2E26. 2 and 11. He'll get to it. E26. He's got to avoid 12, 17, and 18, which he does. And now down to the final out. It is Boog Powell. Last chance for the Orioles. His first at bat for Powell since coming in for the injured Earl Williams. Fingers 5'11". That's a pop out to first. Clutching it At first base is tennis, and the Oakland A's have won the American League. Okay, sorry about that. My wife called me from downstairs, and that kicked off the video there for a little bit. But the A's have stormed the field as they have won the American League pennant by the score of 4-1. 4-1 ball game. A's win it. Yeah, the stadium truly went bonkers because it kind of kicked everything off the grid. Jackson got nothing going on here on his. Fingers went 1 inning, pitched perfectly, gave up nothing. So the Orioles get 1 run and 2 hits. And they also had an error. So that's not a good line score for the Orioles. 1, 2, and 1. Left on base, they left on 1, 2, 3, 4. Left 4 on base. The A's, the grand slam, player of the game, Sal Bando, the grand slam. So they do it on 9 hits, no errors, and they left on 1, 2, 3, 4. So there you go, final score. 4-1 A's, they win the pennant, and they'll await the winner of the Pirates and the Giants. Game 4 of that will be tomorrow from Pittsburgh. Ron Bryant, the lefty, against Nelson Briles, the righty. I've got to get ready to go downstairs because the wife just called me and told me Tabby is crying for me. I brought her up here and then she wanted to leave, and now all of a sudden she wants me back again. So I need to go back there and take care of her and probably watch some college football coming up very soon. So hope you all enjoyed that presentation of Strat-O-Matic, 1973 style. A's win the pennant. They'll be in the series, and they'll take on either Pittsburgh or San Fran, depending on what's happening in that National League series. So until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.